So this week is the week that Pastor Mike and I will share a bit of a recap from last year's goals and share our goals for the community for this year. But it's a Sunday service. It's not just an information session. So I have a message to share, a short message to share to kind of start off, and then I'll invite Pastor Mike up and we'll kind of share our recap and goals. So don't look. I'm going to quickly go through this. Don't look at it. We're going to come back to it. No. Okay, here we go. I built the slideshow wrong. So the last time I was up here was right before the end of the year, and I was reflecting on the year and what God has been working on teaching me, and I kind of encouraged us to look through the lens of God's viewpoint on what God is doing in our life and in our year. And if we go to the heart of it, what is God trying to teach us, or what are we trying to get through our experiences? I think we have a lot of life lessons. There's a lot of things that we can learn through our experiences, our wonderful experiences, our tough experiences of the year. But more importantly than just teaching life lessons, God wants to grow our hearts, right? In growing our hearts, we come to resemble God more. We become people who can become a channel of God's love more, and we can resonate and experience God's love more ourselves in our life. So that was the kind of the looking backwards part. But now we're in the new year, and we're looking forwards. So something that I wanted to talk about is foundation. And this is a word that everybody knows. We use it a lot more in our faith. I feel like we're always talking about, they don't have the foundation for that, or we need a foundation in order to do this. And sometimes it's a word that I feel like gets used, maybe overused sometimes, or used too freely. But it is actually a very crucial part of our faith. And the idea is that in order to accomplish something or to receive something, there first must be a foundation for it. And it's just as true in any aspect of life. Pastor Mike and I lived in this neighborhood for 11 years, and in that 11 years, we saw the whole neighborhood transform from little bungalows to like 3-story row homes on every corner. Everywhere you look, now you see them. But we watched it happen. And the interesting thing about building a house is that first it looks like nothing is happening for a very long time, even like 8 months or a year or 2 years. It's just an empty lot. It seems like nothing is happening. Or you see the excavators and they're digging and things are happening, but it doesn't begin to look like a house for a very long time. But once the foundation is laid, the house actually gets built very quickly, right? You can build a house in a few months. But the whole process actually takes much longer. There's the part where the foundation isn't the glamorous part. Right? That's the part where you're digging in the dirt. That's the making the plans and the architectural designs and the securing the permits and the zoning and all of those things. That's all involved in creating a foundation to build a house. It happens at the ground level, and not very much of that is visible to the rest of us. It's the unseen work that has to happen before you or anyone sees results. So that's kind of a lead into it. But in our faith, we specifically talk about a foundation of faith and a foundation of substance, and how these were necessary on a historical level to be able to receive the Messiah, but also on a personal level. In our own life, we need to make our own foundation of faith and foundation of substance. I have a quote here from our true father. The expression, the foundation of faith has been established, refers to a conditional position where someone is able to indemnify the fall, which occurred due to the disbelief in God, and stand again in the hopeful position of Adam, who can be trusted by heaven. So this is kind of the heart of it, is that because Adam and Eve didn't trust God's word, then they could be led astray, right? They didn't believe God's promise to them fully. And so through conditions in our life, through our own showing our faith and trust in God, then we can restore that, or we can again stand in the position of God's children whom God can trust. Foundation of faith is the deep and really invisible work that we do on ourselves to bind our hearts to God and solidify our relationship with our Heavenly Parent. Isn't that the most important thing, right? If we don't have that, anything we do, we're just building our house on sand. But we don't only talk about the foundation of faith, we also talk about a foundation of substance. And the foundation of substance is the deep work we do on ourselves to bring our relationship with God into our relationship with others. And this is really where we grow our hearts. We have to grow our heart muscle. We have to sift out the things that don't belong in our hearts, like jealousy, comparisons, ego, pride, judgment. These are things that, if you look in the Bible, there's many examples of central figures and historical people making their foundation of faith and making their sacrificial offering and showing, like, you can trust me and I love you. But where they often stumbled was in this foundation of substance. We're bringing that into relationship with others. And so this is a little explanation of where this comes from a true father's perspective. What is the foundation of substance? It is a foundation created through Abel being able to subjugate Cain. Who is Cain? He is the son of an enemy. Through Cain, and this is like a Cain that represents Cain-type figures in the world, right? It begins with Cain and Abel in the Bible, but it's not only about Cain and Abel in the Bible. Through Cain, historical struggles have been occurring. Through Cain, the original source of evil has set down its roots. Through Cain, waves of death have been rushing forward throughout history. We can see from these facts that in order to prevent the appearance of conditions for evil and the expansion of the evil side, a person in the Abel position, that is, a person on God's side, must bring the person in the position of Cain to surrender. There are two ways we must go for the sake of Cain and ourselves. We must walk this path for the sake of our enemy. What does that mean? It means we must deal well with Cain. What is the foundation of substance? Even though Abel has paved his own way, he cannot stand before God unless he subjugates Cain. Abel must lead his enemy. He should not fight with his enemy along the way, but lead the enemy. So you have to look deeply into these quotes, because on the one hand it's saying Abel needs to subjugate Cain. And if you just take that from face value, it's like, I make him do what I want him to do. I twist his arm, or I hold the knife to his neck and get him to do what's right? But this is saying Abel must lead his enemy. And if you look more into True Parents' words about Cain and Abel, what they're actually saying is Abel needs to lead through love. Abel needs to change the heart of Cain through love. Abel needs to take out the judgment in his own heart and let go of his ego of being on God's side and let go of the comparisons, right? And lead through love. So that's really where this kind of comes into play in our own life. So I think it's important at the beginning of a year when you're thinking about what do I want to see in my life? What goals do I have? What do I want to build? What do I want to accomplish? First, we have to remember that in order to build or accomplish or receive anything of real value, there has to be a foundation first. Once the ground is prepared and the foundation is laid, you can build a house. Similarly, once you have a solid foundation of faith and substance, then the door is really open for God to work in your life. So whatever your goals are for the year, my encouragement is to first check in with God and see where you are at in your relationship with Him. How much do you trust God's love for you? That God is working through the circumstances in your life for your good. In what ways can you show God the steadfastness of your faith? But then also, consider not just in your relationship with God, but with the people in your life. Oh, scene is, okay, I think it's the piano. Hold on a second. Right. So, consider first, before you make your goals, your relationship with God, but then also think about, it's not always so obvious, like, what are the things I need to do in my foundation of substance, in my relationships. But I find it's really easy when you notice something ugly pop up in your heart or your mind, when you start to feel yucky about something. But judgment, when you notice that you're judging somebody, or you notice that you're comparing to somebody, or you're feeling jealous of somebody, that's, I think, when those things kind of pop up for us, when we start to feel this, for me, it's really like a yucky feeling. Like, I do not feel like myself when I am thinking about this, or this person, or this situation. Then begin to ask, is there anybody I need to ask forgiveness from? Is there anybody I need to offer forgiveness to? In examining these things, we can find opportunities for restoration in our relationships and creating a foundation of substance. So, to kind of sum up, the foundation of faith represents our inner alignment with God, accepting God's truth and will, even if it requires some sacrifice or offering, stepping out in faith on our part. And then the foundation of substance refers to the external, lived reality. Relationships healed, history indemnified, and building our life in a way so that spiritual truth becomes an actual substance. When those things are in place, then I feel like the door is open for God to work. Whatever our goals are for the year, when they're aligned with God, God can work with them. So this message is basically to give a spiritual checkup on your health. Check in with God. See where do I need to strengthen my faith? Where do I need to strengthen my relationships? And with that, we can lay a successful foundation for the year. So I'd like to invite up Pastor Mike and do our own little spiritual checkup. But hopefully we've got the foundation to accomplish our goals this year. And I'm going to go back to the beginning. Back to the beginning. Don't read them. It's a surprise. Okay, there we go.
Thank you. We wanted to take a few minutes, like we do every year, and just go through our goals and areas that we wanted to focus on last year. And it's something that we feel is really important. Why make goals if you never check to see if you accomplish them, or because even if you didn't do well, there's lessons to be learned and there are opportunities for growth there as well. And that's usually our case too. We do some things well and some things didn't pan out. So last year, as a reminder, if some of you may remember, may not remember, but these were the goals that we had last year: to develop a parenting ministry in small groups, to focus on member care and home visits, to recruit an education, small groups, and teaching leader, to continue to develop youth ministry through all ages, and to continue our building improvements / renovation / rezoning. So there's a lot there to unpack, but we'll try to go through it pretty quickly. First of all, our parenting ministry in small groups. Very grateful for Yana being here in our community, and everything that she is about, everything that she touches, she infuses this care for families and care for couples, and especially like her real passion is helping the relationship between parents and children. And so we're really grateful that at the beginning of last year she ran some pilot parenting small groups. We joined some of those and really enjoyed them. So I don't know if we'll have to talk about maybe doing something like that again this year, but it was really, really good. And Yana also integrated some of that content into Sunday school as well, and had parenting. One thing that was really great also during the winter workshop is we had this parenting meetings at the winter workshop, and where we could talk about where we're at as parents, how to inspire our kids through working on ourselves. Which is nobody really wants to hear that. People want to hear, how can I get my kids to be more obedient, or be listen to what I say, or be better people. But the heart of the material is I guess healing ourselves and growing ourselves and becoming better parents. Then we inspire our kids to be better as well. And I know there was more that Yana did this year, and I know there was a lot of efforts that she made to reach out to people one-on-one and various things, but we didn't talk before we did this, so please forgive us. But we're so grateful that you're here and look forward to the many great things that we're going to continue to do in this area in the year. This is out of order. That's interesting.
We just didn't put the title.
There it is. This is an area that we really didn't make as much progress as we had really hoped. We had made a decision last year that we wanted to focus more on member care and home visits, and there was some. And we had, as always, people coming through town and some visits with families. And of course, when emergencies come up, there's always much to do. But it was much less than we wanted to do, and we are sorry for that. But we already have plans to do more this year. We're really excited that with our new home, we have much more capacity to host. One of our challenges last year was that our house was really a disaster. And we did host people, but it was very hard. And we just had to kind of have a blind eye, please forgive the mess, please forgive the animal smell or whatever. And, we feel like this year we're going to be in a much better position to host. And we're already planning a Super Bowl party. So unless you already have a plan to have a Super Bowl party with friends or at your own home or whatever, of course, having everybody at our house is a stretch, but we'll make it work. If you want to come, just show up, but bring some food. Anyway, we'll talk about. We're gonna have food, but you got to bring something. But we're really looking forward to that. We already have a plan, like we'll have our TV in the living room, that the kids will have their TV and the teenagers can watch together, and then my parents have theirs in their area, and maybe some of the golden age members may want to watch together. I don't know. Anyway, but we're looking forward to that. We've always loved hosting. It's always been a very key part of our ministry, and it was very hard for us last year that we weren't able to host and reach out to more people as we wanted to. But we really have a desire this year to do better. And let's see, we had a plan to recruit education, small groups, and teaching leader, and we tried really, really hard, and it just didn't work out. It didn't really work out. We had conversations around it. There was some potential, but it just didn't pan out. And I guess in some ways it's not something we could force to happen, but we're going to continue to make effort in this area because we do feel like it's very important. Let's see here. To continue to develop youth ministry through all ages. We have just an incredible, dedicated team of Sunday school teachers for all groups. We have this really dedicated Anissa and Kenzo-san, they just work so hard and they do so much that we don't even see. Even as pastors, we don't see a lot of the things that they're doing. And so, but we are beyond blessed in our community to have them. It can't even be overstated. We're so blessed. So this is just an area that we will always continue to invest a lot of effort, finances, time, energy into because it's so important. We spent time, energy this year improving engagement outside of Sunday school. It was monthly events, especially for older youth, and also going into the 9 to 12 youth as well.
Some play dates for the younger ones. Yep. We also, Mira really stepped up for the 9 to 12 age group, and typically those guys have only gotten together on Sunday school or for play dates or things, but we have some really organized and also spiritually focused activities that they've really been enjoying, which is so great to really catch their hearts, at a younger age. And I know some people even organized play dates outside of Sunday school for the 5 to 8 and younger groups as well. So even if it's just 1 or 2 more times per year that this happens, I remember as a kid that those experiences of getting together with your friends of faith who understand you and understand your family and what everything is like and creating those strong bonds are core memories. So that's happening.
I was commenting the other day that I really feel like Yami is one of the best things that we did. It's ongoing. It's not ever done per se, and it took a lot of effort at the beginning to really get things. The first couple of years was really rocky ground, but seeing them now engaged with our youth ministry and helping out with the music, and they've become workshops. They've become a pillar of the community, a really substantial pillar of the community that I couldn't imagine our church being without them at this point. They're always, looking for ways to help, and we always see them here and there doing everything. They've been helping a lot with our outreach and witnessing efforts as well. And when we had the missionaries here, they made space in their home for the missionaries, and took care of the missions teams that have been here. And when the young adults are traveling through Colorado and they just need a place to stay, or we had one lady who was had a layover, but she got really sick, and then they took care of her. And just different things like that I just feel bring a lot of depth to the community that I'm so grateful for. And I just really I feel really grateful for their desire to help make our community better. It really makes a big difference. And also there's been members of the community who've reached out and invited them over for dinner, or come over and watch the game together or something like that. And it feels really good. is what I could say. It feels really, really good. And so there's people, I feel like Yami is going to grow as much as we're able to handle the capacity, because there's a need and a need for something like this for young adults, and if we can handle it. So, and we had our local winter workshop, which was fantastic, best one yet. And then we supported the summer camp in California as well, amongst many other things. The other goal, last goal, was to continue our building improvements, renovations, and rezoning. Some of you may know the Redmonds that were visiting here last year. Do you know that they used to live in this community, and they came to church every Sunday for years and years and years. And they came and they drove past the church because they didn't recognize it. That's a good thing. So, and I think they almost got into an accident too, so because of that. In any case, I'm really grateful for the work that happened on the church this year. My dad repainting, and we were able to get the federal grant to help cover some of the fencing and windows and things like that. And there's just like a couple things that are left to do, which hopefully we can get done this year, but we'll see. We're doing the rezoning. Alex has been a huge help with that, but it's been a very arduous, slow process. The city is very slow. Church headquarters is very slow. So we're trying to get it done. Oh, I'm also very slow. It's not really my thing either, but we're making it happen. We got a lot of interior work done. Anissa redid our cafe with the help of a lot of volunteers, painting and watering plants, and a lot of work that needed to be done, and our entryway. That's really made a big difference. And then we got the parking lot lights. So those are all big improvements this year. I reached out to that church that we visited last year, and even though it's not on the market anymore, but I reached out to them, and I sent a letter around Christmas time, and I just wanted to let them know that if they ever decided to sell again, that please keep us in mind. And I got a call last week from their realtor, and they said that even though they have somebody that's leasing the property with the option to buy, that they have a time limit, and they also have an exit clause. So they said if we can come up with the money, which is kind of the big thing, they would be happy to sell it to us. So those of you who've been playing the lottery to help us to buy the church, don't give up, because we still need that money. But seriously, if we don't win the lottery, if we want this building and we don't want it to be a huge financial burden for us, then we have to make a plan. And I don't know what that is, because it's a little bit outside of our realm of experience, but I really hope so. But that opportunity is there for us. Did you want to say something?
We're going to talk about that in our goals.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in our goals. Okay, so moving on to 2026, and I just want to preface this by saying that these are just some goals that Adonia and I came up with that are exciting to us. There's many people who are doing many things in the church that have important goals and are doing important work, and that's not going to all be reflected in here, but it's not meant to exclude anybody. It's just the expression of the things that we want to do. And also a reminder that we are always trying to support the people who want to do the things that they're excited about. That's really important to us. But last year, because we had the missionaries came from Korea, and we had the Next Gen missions team here for a while, and also just out of a desire and a feeling of that the time is right and it's important that we make more effort to outreach. We started a lot of new outreach initiatives, and I have to really give a lot of credit to Anissa and Kenzo-san. They did the heavy lifting. They made it happen. There's certain things that when you start, let's give them a round of applause. Anytime you start something new, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get something moving when there's starting from zero. It's like pushing a car that's stuck in the middle of the road, which I had to do a year or two back. Actually, no, it's like trying to push a car that's stuck in the middle of the road uphill. A heavy car, like a minivan. It's really hard. And then you're like pushing, and then you realize you get up the hill and you start moving backwards, and then you realize like, oh, I can't do this by myself. And then other people kind of join in and help you out. So it's been a labor of love. Yeah, I mean, they've taken on a lot. And a lot of the YAMI members and different also members of our community have pitched in to help make this happen. And it's been really beautiful to see the people that they're meeting and the people that have been coming to our church because of it. They're really wonderful people. And so it's something that we need to continue to invest in. But just like how nobody wants to push a car by themselves forever, you can do it till you get out of an emergency situation or to get it started, but you don't want to do it. You can't do it long term. It's not sustainable. So we're looking for ways to make this sustainable. We're looking for people to take on. Anissa's got way too many hats. She's doing way too many things. And so we're looking, we've got some things in the works. Hopefully things will work out. You'll see this year. But we're working on developing this team and the process, care for new members, as well as to care for people who are moving to our community. We have new people. We have Nadim and Romina's family that just moved here. We also have another family moving here next week. So I'm excited to introduce you to them. I assume they'll be at church, but they might be busy moving, so we'll see. Like I mentioned before, we really want to focus more on member care and hosting. That's something that we just feel like is so important as pastors to be able to do. And so we're really excited to do more of that this year. So stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah, also, I think that one reason why we are able to reach outwards and welcome people to our community is because of a culture in our community of care for each other and of hosting and really giving love. And so that's something that we always like, that the outreach is built on a foundation, right? Talking about foundations of that love and care that we have for each other. So we want to model that more, but also encourage everybody to take care of each other more.
So as I mentioned before, we want to make some kind of progress towards this new building. It's really a lot to think about, both the cost of a building, but also the cost of the upkeep of a building. These are important things that we have to consider. And one thing that came up a lot when we were looking at that building was that this building is much bigger than the one we have. And as wonderful as that is, how are we going to care for it in a way that's not going to burden us? So yeah, I mean, to be honest, we're still figuring that out. We have time, thankfully, but if there's anybody who feels like they're really excited about making a new building happen for us in the future, it's just an inevitability. We are someday going to have to get a new place, a bigger place. It may be a year or two down the road, it may be 5 or 10 years down the road. It's going to happen. So we should be preparing now, not just waiting until we have the opportunity like we did, or waiting until we're in a dire situation, we're super overcrowded. Whether that's, finding a way to increase tithing so we can or just finding a way to set more money aside, or finding a way to do a fundraising campaign, or a lottery blitz. I don't know, these kind of things. I don't know. Probably I'm not the right person to figure out how to do this, but I have a desire, and if there's anyone here who has a desire to see this happen and willing to put in a little bit of time and energy, I'd be happy to sit down and make a little, what do you call it, like a team of a brainstorm. Like what can we do? How can we show God that we're not just waiting for this building to fall into our lap somehow, but that we're making steps in the right direction. So anyway, we're going to continue with the work that we're already doing, but obviously that's not going to be enough. So we're going to figure that out this year. And as I mentioned before, we've moved out of the house we were living in that the church bought 2 years ago. And so we are we're going to be fixing it up a little bit more and cleaning it out. And we're going to be working on developing this into we're still working out how things are going to go. It's either going to be like a second Yami house, or we're going to figure out something for young couples. But in any case, it's going to be something that's going to align with the natural progression of our youth. What do they call it? Cradle to grave care kind of thing. Yeah. And we're a little bit lacking in this area of young couples in our community, and it's important for our youth to be able to see the next stages in their life. And good examples of young couples, maybe who don't have kids yet, still relatively young, younger than us, and to be able to see what that life would look like for them, see themselves in those shoes. So anyway, this house, we're so grateful to have it. It's not easy to get a house in Denver, as many of you know. It's expensive. And so even though that was a big cost for us a couple of years ago, and it was stressful, but the fact that we have that house and we can use it for that purpose is such a blessing. And then Yami, of course, as all things, needs to develop internally as well. And there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of growth to happen. And we have people, even 2 days ago, someone was reaching out to me to join Yami. So foundation-wise, internally, we need to be strong so that Yami can continue to be a blessing. And to continue to invest into Sunday school and youth ministry. And as I mentioned before, a lot of things happen in this area that go unseen, but for Adonia and I, we really see it as like a pillar of our community, a key thing that our community is doing that is going to help our church to be successful, continue to be successful in the years to come. It's such an important thing. So those are our goals for the year.
That's it. Okay.
If there's anything else to say.
Yeah, as Mike said, we know this doesn't encompass everybody and everything, but things that we are confident that we want to make progress in this year. And also, one of our goals is always to empower the people who have a passion and a vision to find ways to let God work in that. So if you have something you really want to do this year, then talk with us and we want to support you. But that's our goals for the year. I'm going to just pray to wrap up our service. Heavenly Parent, thank you for a beautiful Sunday morning. Thank you for everybody who is here. Many people traveled long distances to be here, or even just getting kids out of bed to walk across the street. It all takes effort, and we do it out of our love for you and out of a desire to open up our lives and our hearts to you, to resemble you more, to become your children. And I just know that heart is within each of us, and that's why we're here. So I pray that through this message and through our experiences today, whether through cafe or fellowship or in reflection time or through the words in the message, that you are able to work through that to give us what we need for this week and for this year. And we really want to begin this year with you. We want to strengthen our foundation of faith, trusting in you, and also being able to show you that we are also trustworthy. And we want to strengthen our foundation of substance. We want to make your love and your truth real in our life and not just something that we believe in. And I really offering that to you, believing that with our faith and our substance that you can do amazing things in our life and with this year. And I offer this prayer in my name, Michael and Adonia Hentrick, a blessed central family. Amen and adieu. Thank you.
Thank you.